Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be teaching you how to do Ubuntu with Windows 7. This will probably work with Windows 8, 8.1 or Windows 10, which is coming out soon. So let's get down to business and click on your browser. Now, type Ubuntu into the search bar and it should just be the first one. From here, click Desktop, get Ubuntu now, and choose whatever works with your computer. I have a 64-bit, so I'm just going to click Download. And skip the whole donation thing. I'm not going to donate. If you really want to, go ahead. Or you can just scroll down and click Not Now, take me to the download. Now, I'm not going to do this because I already have the ISO, so I'm just going to continue. Okay, so now that we downloaded the ISO, we have to defragment your hard drive. So this isn't really required, but it's highly recommended. I really recommend you do this. So go into the Start menu and type defragmenter. Should be the first one, disk defragmenter. Select the C drive and click defragment disk. Now I already know mine will be fine, but I really recommend that you click defragment disk and wait for it to finish. Okay, so now that we've defragmented our hard drive, we gotta partition it, and that means splitting it. So I know that sounds scary and all, but it's totally safe and it's nothing to worry about. So you can just close this out and now click the Start menu, type partition. Now click Create and Format Hard Disk Partitions. So right click on the C drive and click Shrink Volume. So this should take a minute and I'll just skip to the end. Okay, so once you get to this little window, you gotta enter how many gigabytes you want to use, and the minimum you should use for Ubuntu, especially if you want to keep it, is 30, but I recommend 50 gigabytes, so I'm going to type 30,000, because that's 30 gigabytes, and we're going to click Shrink. So now it's going to split the C drive, and it's going to have some unallocated space, which we're going to use as our partition. Okay, now that we have this unallocated space, we're going to right click on it. We're going to click New Simple Volume, which is going to bring up the volume wizard. And I'm sure you've dealt with these wizards like a million times, and they're really simple to deal with. Just click Next. This should say 30,000 megabytes unless you're doing 50,000, and I really recommend you do 50,000 if you're going to keep it. So now click Next. Wants us to assign a drive letter. I'm going to type U for Ubuntu. I'm going to click Next. And these options should already be selected, but if they're not, make sure you select format this volume with the following settings: file system NTFS, allocation unit size default, and let's do new volume U, and gonna make sure the perform a quick format is checked. And click Next and click Finish, and this takes like no time at all, like 3 seconds max. Okay, great. Now we have new volume U. Okay, we're actually not going to start doing anything with new volume U. We're going to do something else with a flash drive. And when you're using your flash drive, make sure you have all your files backed up, because it's going to be formatted and everything's going to be gone. So you're going to have to go to this link, which I'll have in the description. And you're going to have to download the UUI. And I already have it, so I'm not going to need to do so. Okay, go ahead and plug in your flash drive. And you can minimize this. Okay, so once your flash drive shows up, you're going to click on the Universal USB installer. And if it doesn't show up here, you're going to have to type it into the Start menu. If you just type Universal, it should be the first one. So we're going to click on it. Now you're going to click yes. Click don't scan. Okay, so click I agree. And now you're going to have to select Ubuntu over here. And you're going to have to find the ISO that we downloaded earlier. So go into your downloads, type ISO, and it should be right there. So after you select it, you're going to select your flash drive and tell it to format. Make sure that's checked off. And click create. So again, make sure you have all your files backed up because they're all going to be gone. Click yes. And I'll just skip over to when that's done. Okay, now that we've installed this onto our flash drive, we're gonna shut down the computer and we're gonna boot Ubuntu off the flash drive so we can install it onto the hard drive. So just go ahead and shut down. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so now we're just gonna turn on the computer. And I have a Dell, so I'm gonna hit F12 and it should take me to the one-time boot menu. But yours is probably gonna be different. It depends on what manufacturer you have. So the first option is going to be try Ubuntu without installing, and we're going to hit enter at that. Come on. There we go. So this should take a few seconds to load up. And once it does, we're going to install Ubuntu onto that new partition that we just created, new volume U. So there we go. Should be almost done by now. Okay, so we're just going to click X to this, which says keyboard shortcuts, and we don't want that. Going to click X. Okay, so right at the front, it's going to have like an icon saying install Ubuntu 14.04.2 LTS. Double click on that. It should bring you to a wizard, and that it should be straightforward from there. So okay, so select English, unless you prefer to have another language, and connect it to your Wi-Fi network. Okay, once you're connected to your Wi-Fi and you're happy with that, click continue, and click continue after you click download updates while installing, and install third-party software. Just the two on the front, you know, just make sure they're both checked off. Hit continue. Okay, so see, it wants at least 6.5 gigabytes of space, but with the updates it's going to need a lot more. That's why we're recommending 50 gigabytes, if you want to keep it. So we want to install alongside Windows 7. Make sure it doesn't have erase disk and install Ubuntu, because that's can be really bad and you're going to miss all your stuff. Hit continue. Okay, so after you hit continue, you're going to get to this screen, and it asks you where you live, so it can, you know, for your time zone. So we're going to do New York time. Come on. Oops. Okay. Gonna keep it in English US for me. Okay. And I'm gonna skip over my personal information. Okay, and after you enter all your information, it's gonna take you to this little window, and now we'll be installing the system onto your partition. So this might take a few hours if you have a slow computer. So just be patient, let it do everything, and I'll just skip over to when it's over. Okay, now that it's done installing, we're going to click continue testing. Okay, now that it's done with all the testing, we're just going to go to the top right and shut it down.
Okay, now that it's complete, we're going to have both operating systems on our hard drive. So I'm going to turn it on, show you that both work. I'm going to hit the power button. And it's going to give me the option to boot into Ubuntu or into Windows 7. So I'm going to show you Ubuntu first. Hit enter. So it should take a few seconds to load up, unless you have a really fast computer. Actually, that's not even necessary. All you need is an SSD these days, and your computer will boot up instantaneously. So you're going to get this logo, which actually looks kind of nice. So congratulations, you now have Ubuntu on your hard drive, as long as Windows, or whatever other operating system you use. So before I end this video, I'm actually going to show you guys that Windows 7 still works, so I'm going to shut down. We're going to shut down. Shuts down pretty quickly. It's pretty impressive, actually. And we're going to turn it back on. We're going to choose Windows 7 this time. Here, let's go down. There we go. Hit enter. Perfect. And Windows 7 is going to load up for me. There we go, great. See? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like that video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because I make a video every 1 to 2 weeks. See you guys in my next one.